The best-selling songs of the 70s. Remember when this song was always playing at home? Or when this one changed music forever? The 1970s were a decade that shone brightly, where every song could feel like a small miracle uniting millions. But some tunes did more. They sold more records than any others, leaving an indelible mark on those of us who heard them. Today, we're traveling back to that time to remember why those songs still make us feel like anything was possible. I Was Made for Lovin' You by Kiss. Though disco ruled the 1970s, there was still room for epic rock anthems. Just before the decade ended, Kiss surprised us again with one of their best-selling singles, I Was Made for Lovin' You. In 1979, Kiss dropped this song, which stirred debate for blending the best of disco with the best of rock. That fusion made it massive, going beyond genre loyalties. Kiss was already a phenomenon when this came out, but with I Was Made for Lovin' You, they dialed back the intensity for something more melodic, with a catchy riff and a danceable beat. It was a risk, but also a golden opportunity. In the end, it sold over 2 million copies worldwide. This song proves the 70s weren't a one-note decade, showing there was space for heavy, melodic, and commercial vibes all in one track. When you hear it, you feel young again, singing with friends, fist in the air. Before we go on, we'd love to know you better. Where are you tuning in from? Drop it in the comments. Let's keep going. 9. Heart of Glass by Blondie. By the late 1970s, music was in transition. Electric guitars held strong, but pop and new wave were carving new paths. Bridging both worlds, Heart of Glass by Blondie, fronted by Deborah Harry, arrived in 1979. It was a turning point, a song blending disco elements with pop rock sensitivity. When it dropped, some traditional rock fans were skeptical, but the song hit deep with its melancholic melody and a voice that didn't shout but expressed fragility. Heart of Glass sold around 4 million copies worldwide, topping charts. It hit #1 in the United States, the United Kingdom, and many other countries. More than that, it was a revelation, a bridge between light and serious. People who didn't follow punk or hardcore rock embraced Blondie as modern yet accessible. Not many know this, but in New York, Blondie played small clubs before this explosive hit. When they performed it for a crowd, the response was instant. On the radio, it broke barriers. Synthesizers and genre blending could be embraced with passion. Give us a like if you think old school music beats today's tunes. 8. Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2 by Pink Floyd. No education. Pink Floyd was known for reinventing themselves with every project, but we weren't ready when The Wall dropped, along with its game-changing single, Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2. This song became a protest cry against authoritarian education systems. Its lyrics, speaking to oppression and lack of freedom in schools, resonated with millions worldwide who sought more from music than just a dance beat. The song was a massive hit, reaching #1 in 14 countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom. It sold over 4 million copies and became one of the decade's defining anthems. What's fascinating is that despite its commercial success, the song sparked controversy. Some called its message too radical, while others saw it as a wake-up call about flaws in education. But no one could deny its impact. It became a symbol of youthful rebellion and the fight for free expression. For those of us who lived through that era, Another Brick in the Wall was more than a song. It mirrored the dreams and struggles of a generation aiming to change the world. 7. Mary's Boy Child, Divided by Oh My Lord by Boney M. You probably remember the Christmas when this song topped charts worldwide. Mary's Boy Child, Divided by Oh My Lord by Boney M. Blended holiday tradition with a warm, infectious rhythm, uniting generations around a message of celebration and hope. Its success was instant and monumental. The song sold 5 million copies globally, becoming one of 1978's top-selling singles. Its magic lay in the perfect mix of harmonious vocals and catchy rhythms that got people dancing, even in the cold of winter. What's amazing is how this song went beyond the holiday season. Hearing it any time of year reminded us of shared joy, family gatherings, and twinkling lights on streets and homes. In many places, Mary's Boy Child, Divided by Oh My Lord, signaled the start of the festive season, a chance to reconnect with loved ones. Boney M, with their signature style, proved a song could be both popular and meaningful. Its impact was so strong that even decades later, it still pops up on radios and compilations, reminding us that music can preserve moments of joy and unity. What's your favorite Christmas song? Drop it in the comments. 6. Venus by Shocking Blue. If one song crossed borders like no other, it was Venus by Shocking Blue, straight from the Netherlands to conquer the world. Released in 1969, its success exploded in the early 1970s. That sliding guitar and Mariska Veris's powerful voice were unlike anything we'd heard, but we fell in love instantly. Venus hit number 1 in the United States in 1970, selling around 6 million copies, an impressive feat for a European band. It was one of those international songs that crossed the Atlantic and stuck in our local radios, no matter the language. Venus evokes moments of awe when we realized a song in English could feel so much like ours, so close. That feeling of discovering something new, modern, and claiming it as part of your world, singing it with friends, humming it at gatherings. Requesting it on local radio is something only those of us who grew up in that beautiful era can understand. The result was that international music became more accessible and frequent. Venus paved the way for foreign artists who once seemed distant. It was a bridge from Europe to Latin America, from big capitals to smaller towns. When you hear it now, you can't help but smile. It's a burst of youth, discovery, and uncomplicated joy. 5. My Sweet Lord by George Harrison. By 1970, the Beatles were gone, and while we still mourned their breakup, George Harrison hit us right in the heart with My Sweet Lord. This song marked his shift from being part of the greatest band ever to a solo artist. With lyrics about spirituality and the search for truth, it became an instant hit. My Sweet Lord was the first song by a former Beatle to hit number 1 on the US charts. It sold around 7 million copies worldwide, one of the era's top-selling singles, from a man many felt had lived in the shadow of Paul and John. Harrison didn't push hard to promote the song, no tours, no TV appearances. It sold on its own merit thanks to its heartfelt message and emotional connection with listeners. My Sweet Lord was more than a song, it was a revelation. It spoke of something deeper than love or fun, about a spiritual quest that went beyond the earthly. 4. Kung Fu Fighting by Carl Douglas.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
You probably remember this song hitting the radio with that infectious rhythm that spoke to everyone. In 1974, Kung Fu Fighting was an unexpected phenomenon. Carl Douglas never imagined his simple song, with those congas and catchy chorus, would become a global hit.
In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
This guy wasn't exactly a superstar, and didn't expect to be one when he dropped a song inspired by the martial arts movie craze sweeping the West. Against all odds, we were all humming that chorus, which became an anthem for dance floors, family parties, and friend hangouts. Fun fact, the song sold over 11 million copies worldwide and hit #1 in several countries, a triumph for a track many saw as a commercial whim. But that's part of its magic. It captured a cultural moment, that fascination with the exotic and new, blending an imagined East with early disco vibes. Kung Fu Fighting was like a joyful interlude between deep ballads and robust rock on the radio. It was the song you played to laugh and dance without a care in the world. 3. Y.M.C.A. by Village People. It's 1978, and Y.M.C.A. bursts in with those horns and crowd-clapping energy that hooked us instantly. Village People were the masterminds, with their colorful aesthetic and iconic characters, bringing theatrics and collective celebration not just a song, but an identity and a party vibe. For those of us who were young, this song was instant fuel for parties. You didn't just hear it in the background, it demanded you move, join in, and make those arm letter moves everyone copied. It was a cultural revelation, a disco track that went beyond clubs, hitting family radios and getting sung at festivals, weddings, and birthdays. Did you know Y.M.C.A. sold over 12 million copies in its prime? It was one of the decade's top-selling singles, dominating charts, small-town radios, and all kinds of stations. The wildest part? Many sang it without knowing it was dedicated to the Young Men's Christian Association, a well-known Christian organization. Hearing Y.M.C.A. today is like stepping back into a disco with a spinning mirror ball, where distractions were few, and the music was just that good. Subscribe to the channel if you'd love to hear about the top-selling singles from your favorite decade. Let's keep going. 2. You're the One That I Want by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Let's rewind to 1978. The world was caught up in cultural shifts, and a movie redefined the bond between music and film, Grease. From that story came one of the decade's top-selling hits, You're the One That I Want, performed by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. When the song hit the public, it exploded in sales, moving 15 million copies worldwide, fueled by the undeniable chemistry between Travolta and Newton-John, and how it captured the thrill of youth at the time. It stayed at the top of charts in multiple countries for weeks. In the United Kingdom, for example, it held #1 for 8 weeks, a record for that year. The best part, it wasn't just a passing trend. The song transcended its era, becoming a classic that later generations still recognize and sing with nostalgia. Without a doubt, this track brings back summer afternoons and neighborhood parties where everyone tried to mimic Travolta's moves. Its melody still evokes the energy of youth and the feeling that the world was full of possibilities. 1. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. We've reached a pinnacle in music history, one of those songs that shattered every mold to give us a moment that transcended all art forms. In 1975, Queen released Bohemian Rhapsody, and all we could do was applaud. Its unusual structure, blending opera, ballad, and rock, won over both fans and critics alike. Bohemian Rhapsody hit #1 in the United Kingdom and United States, selling an astonishing 32 million copies worldwide, a staggering number even today. It was one of the decade's most innovative songs, marking a before and after in pop music. What's most striking is that despite its complexity, it connected with listeners. The song tackled universal themes like love, guilt, and redemption in a unique way. It was a masterpiece, proving music could be both art and entertainment. If you lived through that beautiful era, you know Bohemian Rhapsody was practically an experience, not unlike watching a TV show episode. It felt like an emotional roller coaster, taking us from sadness to euphoria, calm to storm. It was a song that made us feel alive, and still does. And that's the end of our journey. We'll leave you with a video of another list of old school songs if you want to keep reliving the nostalgia of those times. Catch you next time.